Hi, welcome to Granny Annie Creates. Today I'm going to show you how to make a beginner-friendly laptop holder. It's made in double crochet, so it's nice and simple. It leads on from the single crochet phone cover that we made. So yeah, this is made with double crochet and we're going to start. So you just need to know the length of your laptop. And we need to do a starting chain of the length or width of your laptop. Depends which way you want your stripes to go, but it doesn't really matter. So let's start that again. So to start your project, you do a slip knot onto the hook. So you tie your yarn onto the hook. And then for a chain stitch, you bring this yarn over the hook so it's held in the head of the hook, and you're going to leapfrog the stitch that's already on the hook over that one, creating a chain stitch. So you bring the yarn over, get it caught into that hook bit, and then bring it down through. And that's how we do our starting chain. And we need to keep it nice and loose because we're going to be working back into these holes. So if you've previously been a knitter, you need to really just loosen up on your tension, because crochet is all about being loose with the yarn. We're not pulling on this yarn anywhere. We're just letting the hook guide the yarn down through the stitches. So the way I hold my yarn and hook is my thumb and forefinger on the work. My next two fingers of the same hand are clamping the yarn. I've got the hook held in the other hand, which is my writing hand. And then I'm bringing the yarn over and down through. And then I'm just moving my thumb and finger along, so I'm by the hook. And I'm bringing the yarn over and down through. But however you feel comfortable holding your hook is great. And as say, when I was a beginner, I used to pinch and lift over, pinch and lift over. So however you feel comfortable getting those chain stitches done, that's the start of our laptop case. I chained 30 for my laptop case. I'm just going to do a demonstration today, so it's going to be a smaller amount. But as I say, you chain the length that you need for your laptop and then come back to the video. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to do the double crochet stitch. So you wrap the yarn around the hook and then you go in to the work. Wrap the yarn over the hook and bring it back to the front of the work again, and you'll have 3 bits of yarn on your hook. Wrap around and work 2 off. Wrap around and work the next 2 off. And that's the double crochet. And you'll know that you finished the stitch because you'll just have 1 on the hook. So I'll do that again. Wrap the yarn around, pop it into the work. Wrap the yarn around and bring it back to the front of the work. Wrap the yarn around and work 2. Wrap the yarn around and work the next 2. And as you can see, it's quite a nice high stitch. And it grows quite quickly. So all you've got to do is remember the yarn around the hook, into the work, yarn round, back out. You'll have 3 on the hook. Yarn over, work 2, yarn over, work 2. This is the American double stitch, English treble. I teach in American stitch names because they just make more sense. And like with the double crochet that we're doing now, has a turning chain of 2 when we get to the end of our row. So as you can see, there's our row of double crochets. There's our starting chain. So it's quite a tall stitch and it will work up quite well for our laptop covers. So you just need to do a line or 2, however many you feel like, with this first colour, and I'll show you what to do at the end of the row, and then I'll show you how to change colour. So we'll just do this double crochet all the way to the end of the row, and then I'll show you how to turn at the end of the row. So it's yarn over the hook, into the work, bring the yarn back with you, round and work 2, round and work 2, yarn over, in, out, round 2, round and work 2 off. So when we get to the end of our row, there's this last little stitch to be had. It doesn't look like there's a stitch in there, and if you miss it, it won't matter too much. You'll just have a knobbly bit on the end, but it is actually the last stitch. So we'll poke it in there, bring the yarn back out with us, round and work 2, round and work 2. And then we have our row of double crochet. Yours would be about twice this length if you're doing a laptop cover, or you can do another phone cover but in double crochet stitch. So we can make a bag, you can make anything once you can do the single and the double. So yeah, that's the double crochet stitch. Now to turn the work, as I say, it's a turning chain of 2. So 1, just bring the yarn over the hook and down through 2, and we'll call that a turning chain now rather than a starting chain, because it's helping us to turn the work, whereas that first one was helping us start the work. So same stitch, it's just a different terminology. So that turning chain is working that first stitch there. Can you see that it sits proud above it? So we're going to go in on that second stitch with our next double. So we're going to wrap the yarn over, go into the work, and the proper placement on the second row. Don't worry about it too much on the first row because it's quite difficult on the first row, but on the second row is under these 2. If you just put it under one or front or the back one, it goes a bit loopy. So some patterns do ask for you to work into the front or the back, loop only. But for a proper normal crochet placement, it's under the 2. Now we're going to bring the yarn back with us, round and work 2, round and work 2. I'll show you that again. So we're doing the double crochet, so it's a wrap around first, and we're going in on that next bit, and we're going under the 2. We're bringing the yarn back with us, so we've got 3 on the hook. We're going round and working those 2 off, round and working those 2 off, and that's the double. And as I say, you know you finished a stitch because you're just left with one little bit on the hook. So we're going to go round and in, round, back out, round, work 2, round, work 2, and that's the double. And you can see whether you've worked a stitch or not, because if you pull it that way, you can see that there's yarn, fresh yarn in that hole, and we're in on this next one. So yarn over your hook, into your work, bring the yarn back out, round, work 2, round and work 2, and just continue doing double crochets all the way along, and then I'll show you how to make sure that you don't decrease your stitches, because a rookie mistake is to miss this last stitch here, which is actually the turning chain of the row that you've just done. So at the end of this row, I'll show you how to put a safety pin in your turning chain, and then it will just remind you that there's that last stitch to be had in your row, because if you don't pop a stitch in it, your work will start decreasing, which is fine, but if you want a straight edge, the safety pins really help. So yeah, just double crochet to the end of your row, and I'll meet you there. So we've double crocheted 2 rows now. Can you see? There's one row and there's the second row. And we've come to the end. We're going to do a turning chain of 2 so we can turn the work. 1, 2, and then that's where we pop the safety pin in, just like that, just in the turning chain, and then pop your hook back in. And then when you come to that later, it will remind you that there's a that last stitch to be had, because can you see at the end of this row it's really not very clear. You think that that's the last stitch, but there's actually one more to be had there, which is the turning chain of the previous round. So with the safety pin in it, it makes it more obvious. So that's what you do, is you pop your safety pin in, turn your work and start doing your double crochets along. And that turning chain works that first stitch. So we're in on the second, and now the third. Wrap around and in, wrap around and back out, wrap around and work two, wrap around and work the next two. As I say, just ignore that safety pin until you come back to that end, and then you can see that that stitch, that's where you're going to place your last stitch of that next row where that safety pin is. So we'll just double crochet along here, and then I'll show you how to change colour. And then you know all the things you need to know to be able to make your very own laptop cover in double crochet. You'll be able to amaze all your friends and yourself, and have lovely accessories that match, and just do your own style, make your own things. It's great. You don't have to rely on whatever's in the shop. You can think in your imagination what colours you want and then go for it. So we're just double crocheting all the way along, getting a nice flow going. These projects are really good for practicing, just one stitch at a time. Just think to yourself, right, I'm doing the American double crochet stitch here. That's the one where you wrap around first and then go into the work, wrap around and back out, wrap around and work two, wrap around and work two, and you'll know you're finished because you'll just have the one on the hook, and you know which hole to go into next, because put it back like that and you can see that that one's got some fresh yarn in it and that one hasn't. So that's our next one. Here we go, rounding off. So we're just going to double crochet all the way to the end of your row, however long you needed to make it, so you can cover your laptop or your tablet, whichever it is you want. So you can see now that it's a bit tricky seeing that there's a last stitch there, but on this end where we put the safety pin, it's really obvious that there's a last stitch there. So we're going to just pop one in here because we know it's there, and if we don't, our work will start decreasing, which we don't want. And there we go. So we've done 3 rows of the double crochet stitch, and we've got our safety pin in the end here, and we'll put one in the end here once we've changed colour. So I'm going to tie on a contrasting colour of white. To start a new colour, just tie the new colour to the old one like that, and then push it down to the base near, oh sorry, I'm getting all loads of bits of crochet, well, can't speak now, yarn in the way. So yeah, you tie it on. I like to double knot it on, so just a normal knot onto the yarn, pull it down to the base, and then just start using the new colour. And we're going to do a chain of 2 to give us the height of the stitch for the double crochet. There we are. And we're going to pop our safety pin in. Oh, got a bit tangly there, don't know why. Yeah, so we've done a chain of 2, and then we're going to pop our safety pin or stitch marker in. This time I'm going to use a stitch marker just to show you that it all works the same. We're going to pop that stitch marker in there, and then we're going to carry on crocheting with our new colour. So we're going to turn our work, I'm going to move the stitch marker out of the way, and then as you can see, that turning chain has worked that first hole, so we're in on the second. And as I said, the usual placement for your crochet hook is under the 2 loops. Bring your yarn back with you, round, and work those 2 off, round, and work those 2 off. And we've done the double, so wrap around and in, wrap around and out, wrap around, work 2, wrap around and work 2. And you can see if I move that stitch marker, so we've changed colour and we're on to the next one. And you just do a few rows of this colour, and then as long as you do a turning chain of 2 at the end of your row, and just tie on your new colour when you fancy it, you'll have an amazing double crochet laptop cover in no time that you made, and it's just your own. It's great. It's a great feeling to be able to create your own stuff. So I've double crocheted to the end, and this is the safety pin that we put in the turning chain, just to show you that you then pop your hook in as you would, bring the yarn back with you, round, and work the double crochet off. And then you're going to give yourself a turning chain of 2, 1, 2, and then you take the safety pin or stitch marker out of that stitch and pop it in at the end of your turning chain for the next round. And then I'll remind you next time when you come back that there's that last stitch to be had. You don't need to do the safety pins after a while. You'll just remember that there's that stitch to be had. But while you're a beginner and there's a lot to think about, like that you have to wrap around before you go in and work it off in 2 lots of 2, the little stitch marker and the safety pin is a really good reminder of, what you need to do for your crochet. So for my laptop cover, I've done 2 sides. One, I've done the double crochet going widthways, and the other one I've gone lengthways with my double crochet, so I get a nice contrast when I put them together. I'll have a definite back and a front, so that'll be my front and that'll be my back. I just need to line up the sides, and I'm going to crochet them together, and on 3 sides, and then I'm going to leave one side open for my laptop to slip in there. But if you wanted to leave the top bit open, that would be great. That would work also. Then you could put your laptop in there. So I'll just show you how to crochet your 2 sides together, and then I'll show you the end result. Right, so to crochet your edges together, line them up so they're nice, and you can pop a pin or a safety pin in it to hold it together, or you can just hold it with your fingers. I'm happy just holding it with my fingers. And you're going to take one part of the stitch from this side and one part of the stitch from the other side. Get your yarn. Decide if you want a contrasting colour or one that will blend right in. I'm going to do a contrast just so you can see the stitching, and it looks nice sometimes. So yeah, it's all a design mine's gone blank. A design decision that you need to make. So tie the yarn on and then pop the end in there because we don't need that end. We're working with the longer end, and then take one stitch from one side. Mine's nice and easy to see because I've got a dark edge and a light edge. Take one from each, bring the yarn down through and off. Take one, bring the yarn down through, round, and work off. Take one side, take the other, bring the yarn down through, round and off. And you just do this all the way along, and then when you get to the end, cut your yarn off and then bring it down through the hook and just give it a pull and then sew your ends in, and you'll have your lovely laptop cover all made with double crochet stitches, perfect for the beginner to learn the motion of the crochet stitches. And there we go, there's our edge, which looks pretty funky, and it's sewing our two pieces of laptop cover together, and it will look really nice on the edge when I'm finished. Here's my completed laptop cozy. One side I've got the stripes going that way, and on the other side I've got the stripes going that way. And I've left the top open so I've just got to sew my ends in. I can pop my laptop in there. I can put a button on it if I want to, and I've crocheted the three edges together, and that's all been made with a double crochet stitch, which I've shown you how to do, and hopefully you can make something as wonderful as this, something to be proud of and something that you can practice your newfound knowledge on. So I hope you've liked my video today on my channel. Please subscribe and hit the like button, share with all your friends, and check out granieanie.com. I've got a beginner crochet free ebook that shows you how to do the stitches along with my videos. So you've got written instructions and the video instructions, and there's other patterns and wonderful free goodies over on granieanie.com. Thanks for watching. See you next time.